In today's video, we're gonna bust some myths about red flags. Or are we? Some red flags are legitimately red flags. Find out which are. Hey, I'm Bill Stevenson from Spotlight Realty. Thanks for watching this video. I'm here with Francisco Huizar. He's an agent on Spotlight Realty, and we're going to talk a little bit about these red flags and whether or not you should be worried about them. If you find out that a seller wants to move very, very quickly, is that something that a buyer should worry about?
Not necessarily. Sometimes a buyer needs to sell one home in order to purchase the other home. That could actually be very advantageous for a buyer.
Yeah, so it could be an opportunity for them. So that if the buyer is able to comply with that, then maybe they can get something else, right? Like lower price.
Right, yeah, that could help with the negotiation factor.
Exactly, right. Okay, the second potential red flag. In North Carolina, we have disclosures that you can answer 3 different ways. For example, is there a problem with the roof? You can answer it yes, you can answer it no, and you can answer it no representation. And there are 30-some questions that have all 3 of those answers available to the seller. If I get a disclosure that says nothing but no representation, is that something I should be worried about as a buyer?
Not necessarily. There could be a number of reasons why somebody selects no representation. It could be somebody selling it on behalf of somebody else. For instance, a son selling their father's home. They honestly don't know the answer to the question, so it's better for them to answer no representation as opposed to no, that is incorrect, or yes, I absolutely know the answer to that.
No representation could really just mean I really don't know because I've never lived in the house, I'm an investor or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes homes have odd sales histories, meaning that they sell really quickly in rapid succession. I have one recently where the people who are selling it now just bought it a year ago, and the people who sold it to them just bought it a year before that. So is that something to be worried about?
Not necessarily. Every circumstance is different. The seller could actually decide that they did not want to live in that area and move closer to a family member, or from time to time somebody gets a new job, and the job is having that person relocate.
Yeah, so it could just be completely circumstantial, yeah. And anything that you would normally be worried about with that kind of thing would probably come up in an inspection anyway, so nothing to scare you away.
Which further justifies why you should have an inspection.
Oh yeah, or must have an inspection, right, exactly. All right, the next red flag. What if you're contemplating buying a house and you notice that there are a lot of other homes in the neighborhood that are on the market and are taking a long time to sell? Is that a red flag?
Well, actually that could be a real red flag. You would want to do a little bit more digging as to why homes aren't selling in that particular neighborhood.
And there could be a lot of reasons for that, right? Maybe an employer moved out, that's a bad thing. Maybe one agent has 5 listings there and overpriced them all. So let's say that you're contemplating buying a home and you find out that there are 10 other people who have made bids on the home. Is that a red flag?
It could be a red flag. If you're going in expecting to pay at least what listing agent is asking, and then there are 10 other bids, and now you have to outbid 9 other people or 10 other people. Now, based on the appraisal that comes back, after you win, you may end up having to front a ton of money out of pocket that you weren't ready for.
Yeah, so you have to be aware of that, aware of the fact that there may be an appraisal deficiency, and you have to make up with that in cash. Yeah. So that is kind of a red flag, I'd say. It means that it's popular. I mean, it means that people want to live there. People want to live in that neighborhood. People want to live in that house. People are tripping all over themselves to live there. So that's good. The downside of it is that if you get the house, and there were 10 other offers, then you outbid 10 other people. That means, by definition, you're overpaying. What you could do is you could win the bid, turn around and sell it to one of the other sellers. Yeah.
Or, a wise man once said, if you live in it long enough.
Yeah, over a long enough timeline, the value of real estate values always increase. Right? Okay, so there you have it. There are a number of things that we discussed that may or may not be legitimate concerns. Anything you want to say in closing?
You should ask these types of questions. The more you learn about the property, the more empowered you are going to be going into the transaction. Ultimately, you want this home to align with your goals and your wants and needs.
Any more questions? You know who to call. Francisco Huizar.
It's fun to say.